Alright, so game number one, everybody. Dragonshire. We are a little bit advanced in the draft already. We got the Parkas on drugs going up against the fighters. And we ended the draft a bit late for a very simple reason. In the middle of the draft, my recording tool actually just decided that it would peace out and was gone. So, when we're starting for game number one, we're in the loser's bracket right now, and we have a pretty spicy series on our hands. We're down to the last four remaining teams in the tournament here at the Underdog Cup, where we featured Division 2 and Division 3 teams. And right now we got, with the Parkas and the Fighters, two teams that had a pretty long lower bracket run already and really put in the effort here. Now, as this all plays out, we have on the pick side Anduin and Johanna taken for the blue team, following this up with Blaze on Cassia. So a pretty powerful front line as we're going into game number one on Dragonshire, with Jojo and Blaze just being an absolute staple in the Heroes of the Storm meta for a long time, of course, for years on end. Over on the right side, we get Maiev, Malfurion, and ETC. So again, these tethers into roots, into an ETC power slide. And since we are on Dragonshire, one of the go-to heroes, of course, is also Zagara, which on the bot lane has usually a huge presence and can really start to also take structures down very quickly. With Leo, they're making it a triple front line right now, so ETC, Leo, and Maiev, whereas for the Parkas, they still got to decide who their remaining damage dealer is going to be. Cassie alone is not really going to cut it for them, but we'll see what they can now pull off here as we're going for the final pick. Now, again, this is going to be a pretty spicy one, since whichever team loses out of the tournament and only takes 4th place. But the winner, of course, still has a shot for that grand final spot. And that's exactly what they're going to be trying to fight for. So, ladies and gentlemen, final pick. We're going for Kelthas. And it's time for map number one between the Parkas on drugs and the fighters. The blue team in game number one starting over on the left side. To be fair, the blue team always starts on the left side. We got Ya on Johanna, King Solomon on Anduin, Shan is playing Blaze, we got Alpaca on Kelthas, and Yizzy Fizzy with Cassia in game number one. Over on the right side, it's Hajjunio for the fighters with ETC. We get Itrax on Maiev, Aldante on Malfurion, Akunis himself is playing Zagara for the red team, and then Shikish is playing Leoric. So, let's go and let's get this party started. Who is walking away with a lead in the best of 3? And also, what are we going to get from Kelthas? Every single time that I see a Kelthas now in this tournament, I just expect that we're going to get Pyroblast. We had so many Pyros, I don't think this is going to be an exception. It is likely Pyro time again, at least that's what I would assume here. Now, over on the top lane, we're currently having Leo just running the show solo. Blaze is obviously going to join him and makes this a 1v1. Whereas down at the bottom of the map, we're going to soon see Zagara take position. But yeah, right now, just flapping her way down to the bottom of the map and starting to slowly take control here. Not only with vision, but obviously also trying to take those towers down quickly. Break through that wall and take that bad boy down. Aldante is just roaming between lanes as the team has already gone for their own mercenary camp. We got the Bruisers for the red team en route, whereas the Parkas are just now getting their camp as well. It's a bit of an invade there, but Maiev gets very quickly anticipated and then stunned out. She slowed things slightly though, and that allowed Leoric to do damage at the top, and they were able to get some in here. So, yep. Not too bad. Down at the bottom of the map, that's when we're now having Akunis pushing this one back too. They take full control over the second shrine as well. So there's actually a chance for them to get an early Dragonite. I don't really think that they can go for that. Jojo is sitting in the middle, and she can easily interrupt this. And since the blue team is now aggressively pushing for the bottom control, yeah, they're shutting that attempt down quickly. So right now, level 4 talents coming in that gives us, as usual, also Subdue. And yeah, there's the next little hit with Gravity Lapse. I know I always sound a bit like a fanboy when I'm talking about Kelthas, but Gravity Lapse plays in general is something that I really like. Like, one of the old school combos that we had in the game when Heroes of the Storm was still extremely fresh was ETC plus Kelthas power slide into Gravity Lapse. And just that CC chain alone was so strong. And yeah, people just kept playing it. It was great. You could follow that up with Malfurion or anybody else with additional CC. And then Khaldor started to disappear a bit just because of all that mobility creep that came in with heroes like Genji, for example. So he became a big target, and that caused problems. But right now, we still have him here. We have Cassia getting attacked in the middle as she was trying to interrupt any attempt at channel. And yeah, Jojo retakes at the bottom of the map, but this is first blood. So the fighters, they apply pressure, pressure, pressure by controlling the objective and forcing interrupts in the middle. And that exposed Cassia and allowed them to get the first kill. So not really able to get anything crazy out of it. At least not a DK. But a bit of a lead and more pressure against the blue team. Who's already falling back slightly here, which allows Zagara to come in and get some damage. Yeah, spreading some of the love here. Tower is still in. Blaze is now in the middle. Leo still sitting at the top. They could send somebody towards the mid lane and try to get the Dragonite. But they are still very successful down here at the bottom of the map. And they are contesting also the position that Jojo is trying to take. So Jojo is retaking. Yeah, and they nearly go for my F here. Nice damage from Khaldor too. I mean, really good control. And also speccing a little bit more into the living bombs now. With Condemn, obviously, always nice to have. You just get everybody into one spot, and then you get the big AoE damage from Khaldor. So, right now, Khaldor with 10 stacks also on his level 1. Next attack against ETC, sliding out here. Yeah, getting attacked. And that was nearly the end of Johanna. She made it though. And the pressure's again there. The red team is retaking the control at the bottom of the map. And is now threatening the Dragonite once again. And Leo tries to channel. And he's going to get it. Barely able to snatch it as Blaze was hoping to interrupt, but he gets it. Positions himself at the side. And that's going to be some neat damage, even with the Inspire buff for the minions triggering. So they can take the wall out over here. Blaze is doing work at the top side too, so him being left alone is kind of negating a lot of what the Dragonite can do. Which is a bit ironic when you think about it, but we're still very early in the game, so it's not like the Dragonite has fully scaled. But we're 5 minutes in right now, and the Parkas are falling a little bit behind. It's nothing insane. But you can really tell that the fighters are just generally speaking the team that's setting the agenda here. Oh, and they want the kill, and they're going to get this one too. Yeah, Cassia didn't see that coming. And now they're even going for Jojo. More damage in the mid lane, by the way. Dragonite is finally taken out, but it allowed them to get damage on the fort itself. So while Blaze has been able to do structural damage at the top, it doesn't really compare to what we saw coming in from the fighters. Now they have the level 10 abilities with a 1 level advantage, and they can even be more aggressive here. Trying to go for Jojo. Slide, root, but all of that negated by a trade. More is in. We'll also get Entomb. And talking about Leo, he is getting more damage in at the top. So, oof. The fighters, they're losing ground. Sorry, the Parkas are losing ground. The fighters are doing really okay here. Level 10 helped them a little bit, for sure. But, yeah. Next attack coming. And there it is! Pyroblast! As already expected, it is Pyro time again. They certainly love those. Pyro is in once again, and together with that we're getting this time Valkyrie. So they're trying to use a little bit more control here. The poor man's hook on a much longer cooldown. And Leoric is all alone in the top lane. I mean, they can't really give him this much space to work with. Even with Blaze trying to move towards the top lane again, Leo is going to get a mad amount of damage on that fort. He might be able to take the entire thing down. That's crazy amount of free damage that he gets here. So Leo's going to be very happy about this, and the red team is going to enjoy that a lot. Yeah, Pyro on the other hand. And yeah, it's a kill. Value, baby. Whoop, whoop. That's a round of applause right there. Oh, and a very nice follow-up on Malfurion too. So all of a sudden we get 2 kills for the Parkas. Yeah, that's looking a little bit better. That's more like it. ETC barely avoids being the third one to get destroyed here. Now, Leoric is still threatening at least some control and is obviously waiting also for the minion wave. He still wants that fort and might be able to get it. But at least we're seeing some teeth here from the Parkas as well, as they are getting kills. Was about time. But they're still going to lose out on that fort here at the top eventually. Leo is most likely going to get it right here, right now. Yep, no problem. Maiev is back in the middle, and they still maintain a small lead in the experience, which is now going to increase, of course, thanks to the passive XP increase. That said, I gotta give it to the blue team. They're starting to get kills here. And they're applying an enormous amount of pressure down at the bottom of the map, forcing Maiev to react too. It's a 3 versus 4 though. So yeah, they need to wait a bit longer if they really want to have a shot there. And now that Blaze comes in, it's actually a 5 versus 4 for just a second. They make this a full-on team fight. Leo trying to get away and escapes as the blue team is still hoping to take the structures out. Now Anduin has with level 13, both teams on 13 now, has with 13 the boots. Yeah, and Maiev is already on the next camp, giving the team potentially another advantage to the top lane. So yeah, taking this quickly would help. And Leoric, for example, is escorting catapults over. Blaze has to react to this. He's continuously under pressure. Blaze is really having some trouble with this. And for good reason too, of course. There's the Entomb! Yeah, still, Blaze is going to be fine, but that's more pressure against him, and he will have to fall back. That's obviously the camp that is now pushing through the top lane too. And with the bottom of the map being the next focus point, if the fighters can take control of the shrine here as well, they can threaten another Dragonite. So now that Blaze is essentially pinned down at the top lane, Leo is moving down to the bottom of the map. Doesn't have an Entomb yet, but it's all about him trying to help the team out and make this into a 5 versus 4. They're trying to get kills with this. Mosh Pit interrupted as the Maw already locked down Kelthas, but they go for Jojo and they get the kill. And Cassia is caught on the wrong side of the team fight. So Cassia is going to get killed as well. That's kill number 2 in this battle. And they're not even stopping there. They go for Anduin and make it a triple. 3 down. And the Entomb is barely missing. The Entomb is missing, but they have a shot at a Dragonite again, and they will grab this one. So now we have a 1 level advantage for the fighters, and they get another Dragonite too. That should cost the blue team 2 more forts. The one in the middle is likely going to get destroyed by the Dragonite himself. And then down at the bottom of the map, as you can see, this one is going to get wrecked as well. Level 16 talents, very, very close now for the red team. And they are pulling farther and farther ahead here. And it's of course not going to be easy for the Parkas to bring this back, considering that with 3 forts lost, the passive experience increase is now also going to be pretty significant. And Leo is pushing at the top lane now too. They're opening a few of the walls already up with the help of Zagara, and the Dragonite is still active. We're 10 minutes in. Not the strongest Dragonite you've ever seen, but still, this bad boy can hit. So they're taking the entire wall down. Bit of keep damage with a Dragon's Breath is now also fairly... yeah. Fairly realistic. So they get this one. I mean, you're looking at the damage numbers, and we have Zagara at 41,000, Cassia's at 34,000. And the fighters are extremely comfortable with this. There's lots of creep on the map now too. Lots of stuff that has to be taken care of by the Parkas. And they are in a tough spot. They get at least level 16 talent, so they can try and force a couple of team fights. If they get kills in now, that would help a lot. But obviously, the experience gap widening is a problem. Kelthas, at least, able to, with the level 16 talent, now also try and spread the love a little bit further. We got Ignite. So, as we've already said before, we have now a situation in where you can really try and get the combo going between Jojo and then Kelthas. If you get a good Condemn, and then Kelthas follows that up with Flame Strikes, with Living Bombs, you can do a lot there. You can really try and spread that well and ruin the opponent if they're starting to cluster up. But there is still a strong 4-man now pushing at the bottom of the map, destroying more structures, and doing all of this, Leoric is capitalizing on the top lane. He's all alone there, so that gives them additional experience. The red team needs to be careful that they don't overdo it. I mean, again, at the end of the day, it's a 5 versus 4, but there's, for example, also catapults in the middle that have to be dealt with pretty quickly, or it's going to be more damage on the keep, and yes, Blaze arrives in time. But Leo is on the bridge of death and is likely going to try and get some more damage in. And the rest of the team is still fighting down at the bottom of the map. So they're starting to even chase. Try and go for Cassia. There's the Mosh Pit and the Valkyrie misses completely. Still not able to get a hit on Kelthas, but they take Jojo down and Anduin is also dead. Blaze gets Maud in the back. Leoric is still not here. It's a triple kill. 3 heroes already down as Leoric pushes for the top side keep. And down here, they're obviously now going for Kelthas. They already disc Blaze, who is able to get away. ETC went too deep, but Kelthas still died. So yeah, they got 4 kills in total. And Leo, for example, is just working that top lane keep. Is getting a monstrous amount of damage in and will likely destroy the entire thing. Bottom of the map, it seems like we're just looking at the same picture here. And this is all coming with a level 20 talent that the fighters are picking up right now. And of course, a Dragon Knight potentially up on the map. It's a disaster for the Packers. Game number 1 is not looking good. Right now, we got the fighters just doing too well. They are going for the next objective. They're going to try. And I do not know. I mean, honestly, the blue team interrupting, even trying to, would most likely put them into a real awkward spot. They have to somehow defend. If they are trying to take the fight in the middle of the map, then they're likely going to get murdered. Here are the level 20 talents. That gives us the tour bus. We have Maiev going for another camp. So they're taking the camp. They're getting ready with also Zagara now pushing in. She went on 16 already into the Corrosive Saliva. And now we have them with a Pack Instinct 2. Plus Buried Alive, obviously, for Leoric, who, to be fair, is currently in the Dragon Knight. But, yeah, this one is going to hurt. So, yeah, off we go. They're starting to get additional damage in. Starting to do some work on the last keep. I honestly thought they would go straight up for the core. But the defense is so far well set up. And obviously once that you lose every single keep, then it's very likely that catapults are eventually going to choke you out completely. But they're looking for kills here. Disc is missing. The keep is going to be destroyed. Leo could drop out of the Dragon Knight and then start taking an Entombment. If they get kills with that, that would be great for them. Big Dragon's Breath there on the double wave, essentially. Making sure that catapults are getting close to the core. Light Bomb dodged by ETC. Now they're trying to focus on Cassia again. Mosh Pit! And there's the tour bus, baby! They go for the tour bus play, and they get big damage in. Cassia gets healed by Anduin, and somehow the blue team survives, at least initially. But the core is now getting attacked, and we get a triple more. If he has a power slide here, he doesn't even need it. They take 3 of them down with ease, and that's going to be game. 13 kills to 4. Blaze is still alive, but he's the only one. The fighters are able to take the lead in this best of 3 series of the losers bracket at the Underdog Cup. GG and well played. We're going to head straight into game number 2, but before we do, once again guys, if you enjoy the coverage on the channel here, if you enjoy the match, please like and subscribe. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. It also helps to boost the game to an even wider audience. And of course, it helps to get people back into Heroes of the Storm as the algorithm recommends the videos to people that were interested in Heroes of the Storm in the past. So again, before I continue, if you haven't done it yet, subscribe to the channel and like the video. Appreciate it. And with that, we're heading straight into the second map of the series. Map number 2, Infernal Shrines. The fighters are ahead after a pretty clean performance on Dragonshire. Now the Parkers obviously under some pressure. If they lose on Infernal Shrines, they are out of the tournament. They take 4th place and the fighters would advance to the next round of the losers bracket. 10 heroes have already been played and cannot be played again as a result. So teams have to start to deviate a little bit away from the typical plans here. But still in a best of 3 series, and especially in game number 2, not that big of a deal yet. But with Infernal Shrines being the map, let's see what they're trying to get rid of first. Pressure, as I said, is on the Parkers right now. They have to find a way to break through this, to make sure that this isn't the end of the line for them. But the fighters, they've been doing lots and lots of pretty clean plays on the last map. Obviously, a lot of that was already set up by Maiev, and she can't be played anymore. But you can always try to go for another one of those high-impact heroes. I mean, we've seen plenty of them, so we'll see. By now, we have Garrosh banned out. Hanzo is eliminated. With Infernal Shrines, it's like that we are getting Dehaka again. Falstad, another good choice, obviously. He might be banned, though. With the blue team having first pick. Depends a bit on the fighters, I suppose, what they are trying to get rid of. No, actually, it is the Puckers that ban out Falstad. I think in the entire day today, we haven't had a single... No, actually, we had one Falstad game. In every other match, he was just banned continuously. But, yeah. So, Birdie gets banned. He's out. We still have... Oh, Kerrigan banned as well. Okay, I didn't really think that they would try and go for Kerrigan. But fair enough. Kerrigan gets eliminated. And now the question how the Parkas are going to start this off. Typically, you want to have a couple of decent side laners as well. You want to have that AoE damage. Dehaka comes in as a really good option. Oftentimes as a first pick, but there's so much around. Again, depends on what they are prioritizing for themselves. You can see that on the front line. And, well, with the Parkas, they go for Chromie. So we got some range damage as the Garden Gnome is making her way into game number 2, into Infernal Shrines. And I wouldn't be surprised to see the side laner taken now for the red team. And very likely, again, it's going to be Dehaka. Now, this early in the series, map number 2, you have an insane amount of side laners that are all strong here. But there come... Ooh, Diablo Alexstrasza. Alright, Alexstrasza for the heals. Okay. Didn't quite expect that as a pick, but now we have the Dragon transformation for Alexstrasza. Essentially what happened is that the Puckers went for a fake dragon trying to intimidate the red team, and then the red team just simply looked at that, started to laugh a bit, and was like, are you kidding me? That's not a dragon, that's an imposter. No self-respecting dragon would ever take that form. That's disgusting. That's embarrassing. We're going to show you what a real dragon looks like, and then they went for Alexstrasza. They could have gone for Deathwing, but they decided that they would go for Alexstrasza instead. And that's obviously just a psychological blow just from the start against the red team, who's now just sitting there totally sad because they realized that they got duped, that they didn't actually pick a dragon, that they picked an imposter who is just pretending to be a dragon because she has an inferiority complex. That's just what it is. So yeah, she's delusional. We all knew it. So yeah, psychological advantage fighters. Greymane and Muradin. That's a lot of single target damage, by the way. You hit that Stormbolt and you follow that up with anybody on the support department, and then you get a bullet, you get Greymane engaged, you get Chromie single target damage, and you know you can murder them. So on the other side, we get now the fighters with Vala. Arcudis has already played an insane Vala earlier, and I could totally see something similar here again. Depends, of course, whether or not they are just speccing into a double support again or not. Zul for the side lane roaming. And on the blue team side, as they are now really in a position where they have to somehow pull through. We'll see how they're going to try and make that happen. I mean, again, they still need their own side laner. Zul is already being played. And as it turns out, we're getting Dehaka after all, just not for the team where I expected them to be. Rhaegar as well. So the Wolf Pack is united. We get also that Lightning Shield, which obviously helps you too. So, solid one. And yeah, now the question, double support, no double support, triple frontline, no triple frontline. Is it going to be 2 damage dealers? All of those particular variations would work here. Depends on what they're favoring. And again, Arcunis has played an insane Vala earlier, but we get Tychus. So we get the Alexstrasza transformation and the Tychus transformation, very likely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, map number 2, match point for the fighters. We're headed to Infernal Shrines. Match point for the red team as we have the Parkas with Ya on Muradin. We get King Solomon on Rhaegar. Yizzy Fizzy with Greymane, so the Wolf Pack in action for the blue team. With Shan on Dehaka and Alpaca is playing Chromie. Over on the right side of the map, it's the fighters with an arrow build for Vala. So Arcudis this time not supported by 2 healers and instead going for an arrow build. No auto attack. Itrax with Tychus. We got Hajdunio on Diablo. Shikish on Zul. And we get Al Dante with Alexstrasza heading straight into the circle of life over here. Would have loved maybe a nice little Stitches combo with that, but yeah, far from it. So keeping an eye out for Arcudis. I like that style that he has there anyways. It's like the white witch hunter tint and then the white direwolf. That's pretty awesome. Interestingly enough, we're actually getting dash. Okay, so it seems like we're going to get more of an auto attack build for Tychus from the looks of it. So dash on level 1 for him. So yeah, color me intrigued. This could be a pretty interesting move now. Depends a little bit also on the level 4 talent, but yeah, this could get really interesting real quickly. Vala, does she work another arrow in? Does she have one? Cooldown not ready yet, and there it is, stack number 2 for her. It's obviously more centered around her doing hero damage, not so much the level 7 talent that we expect here, but yeah, we'll see. For now, also Itrax just dashing around a little bit and getting really nice and easy damage in against the Haka, already forcing him back. I mean, damn, Shan is really having some trouble. That's going to be a problem because the top lane is under pressure, and the lower he is, the more of a problem he has against Zul in the 1v1. So for the top lane, this is fantastic. Down here, Vala with a few more stacks, but Diablo, oh, he's the first one to fall. Diablo is down, and they can use that to steal the camp. So first blood for the Parkas, good start for them. That's exactly what they need here. Well, at least with kills, but as I said before, the top lane is a bit of a problem because they just took too much damage there early on. Chromie also stacking, she's currently sitting at 10 stacks. Alexstrasza on 3, Vala on 4. And yeah, Tychus is gonna reveal what we're gonna get from him in just a moment. With dash on level 1, you can do obviously quite a bit there. And we now have for Vala the double arrow, as you would have expected. And yeah, down at the bottom still the applied pressure from the blue team, as they're using the mercenary camp as well to try and push this further. Zul at the top, still against the Haka, and Tychus goes into Master Assassin. Alright, interesting. So we're getting the passive again for Odin. Yeah, not going into quite the auto attack style that I expected from him, but here we go. Vala with a few more stacks now, sitting at 7. That's not too bad. We're 2.5 minutes in. First objective is now slowly up. They get good damage in at the top lane, by the way. I mean, the entire wall destroyed and even the fort already suffering a couple of hit point losses. So everybody is doing kind of okay for the fighters. Small advantages, but they build up over time. Everybody getting ready for the first shrine. And maybe both of them also a little bit late on their mercenary camp. So nobody is going straight... Aha! Muradin! Okay. Muradin is saying hello here real quickly. And I guess they know that there's not going to be anybody there unless the Haka decides that it's a nice moment to move in. And the blue team is actually showing up in force from the looks of it. So yeah, Zul gets attacked, gets killed, quickly falls, and the camp is going to be stolen. The Parkas with huge aggression and lots of value as a result. They get 2 kills, Alexstrasza and Zul both destroyed, and they took the opponent's camp, which means that we have at the top lane now 2 shaman camps for the blue team. So this is about as good as it gets. Early level 7 talent on the first objective, you steal the opponent's camp away, you get a couple of kills in the process. Awesome. Doesn't get any better than that. So yeah, they're going to be very happy with that outcome here. And it kind of sucks a little bit for the fighters. They will have to try and claw their way back into this. Not necessarily going to be easy. Half a level of the difference already in experience, which will likely be bridged just now. But yep, there we go. The level 7, we're getting Malevolence. We also have now Melting Point. That's a bit of a weird build. A bit all over the place. Usually if you go Melting Point there on level 7, I would have still expected him to go for the Grenade on level 1 as well. We get Hot Pursuit over here from Vala. Work some of the extra damage in, but that wall is already being opened up. This being a Frozen Punisher obviously doesn't really help their cause. Muradin is low, but he makes it. Yep, Muradin still survives. Zul was trying to now come in and attempt to punish him. Couldn't either. At least they hold on to the fort, I suppose. So the defense wasn't too bad. Given that this was a Frozen Punisher, losing only the wall is still kind of okay-ish. But they are still behind in experience. Alexstrasza isn't done with their quest yet. And on top of that, of course, it was a big setback also on the kill count. 3 kills to 0. Chromie now with 28 stacks. Yeah, I gotta say, for the fighters, it's a bit of a rough start into game number 2. Good for the Parkas. They won game 3. This, on the other hand, is still a problem. That top lane aggression that we've now seen time and time again is problematic for the blue team. If you think about it, the fighters now have done more structural damage just by lane pressuring than the Parkas did with an objective. Zul has to deal with this, so they're losing more here. And he can, but still going to take him a hot minute. Alexstrasza with a heal, and yep, they keep Diablo in play. 13 stacks now for Vala. Very, very likely we're going to get later on a build just speccing right into Acrobat. All things considered here. Yeah, and Vala is working some nice connects in here. But it's all late game, obviously. And Diablo, if something like that happens and you lose your main tank this quickly, then you know you're going to be in trouble. So Vala can work in all of those arrows as much as she wants. If they're starting to lose too many structures here, then it doesn't help them whatsoever. That's a kill against Itrax. That's Tychus gone. And this is the first 4 destroyed at the bottom of the map. So the Parkas are all of a sudden in an enormous... Like, they are in possession of an enormous amount of momentum. 5 kills, 2-0. And on top of that, all of that damage against structures now. So while we were arguing a second ago that the fighters might be slightly ahead in XP, that has changed extremely quickly. Now, at least we have both teams on level 10 abilities. We get Apocalypse, no Lightning Breath. Commandeer Odin. And then obviously also the Poison Nova for Zul, with Alexstrasza nearly being done now with the quest. One more globe is all that they need to have that added sustain too. But the blue team, they are just applying pressure. I mean, they're right there. They have everything that they need right now. They apply as much pressure as they can. Try to not let up. Vala is currently on 18 stacks. So still very, very strong on the stack amount. Even if she would die, it wouldn't really be that big of a problem. But of course they want to make sure that she gets into a late game with a huge number so that she can just burn targets down. Especially in a 1v1 situation. But thus far it's been the Parkas. They've been controlling the game well. This time with a few more heroes at the camp as they're trying to take it. Zul is still pushing and keeping the Haka obviously at bay. He dodges out on this already. Objective focused once again, and let's see what the fighters can do. Mirrodin at the front. Vala works a few more attacks in. But they gotta break through this somehow. They got the Dragon Queen, they got Odin. They got the double transformation right now. Apocalypse already being used, but only as a zoning tool. Wasn't able to connect with anybody. Now we have the Dragon Queen out, and of course eventually Odin is going to take over too. But with 31 stacks in the hands of the blue team, just with some outside poke, they should be able to do a lot here already. So they're staggering the plays with Odin and with the Dragon Queen. And they're catching up. They're catching up in points. They're also trying to burn down Mirrodin here. 32 to 33 points on the objective. Greymane is the one that falls. Mirrodin is about to die too. And the red team gets the Punisher. There it is. The triple kill and the Punisher. That's exactly what they needed. Massive play from the fighters. Perfectly timed transformation tools on the objective. Dragon Queen first and then a staggered connect on the Punisher, the thingy on Odin. Vala, too aggressive, gets killed, self-ancestral by Rhaegar. They try to take him down too, but again, at the end of the day, they're still getting a lot of value out of the situation. Still decent defense, I gotta say. Very good defense by the few remaining heroes that we had here. Now let's not forget that, oh my god, Rhaegar, no! Not like this! So Rhaegar gets killed, the fort at the top gets destroyed. That's obviously the one big problem that they had, that Zul wasn't even here. He was at the top lane the entire time and doing damage there. So, fighters with a big step forward. On every account. 6 kills to 4, and we have even a lead in experience for the fighters now. Not a big one, but again, they went from being behind in experience to surpassing the opponent. By a small amount, granted, but still. Yeah, and Vala is now at 24 stacks. 10 minutes in, that's still fairly strong. So, Vala with a couple more hits here. Is going to get a couple more arrows out in just a second. 25 is not bad. But Diablo, yeah, he's dead. Diablo is dead, he doesn't make it here. Uh-oh, careful. 1 arrow, 2 arrow, but the Storm Bolt hits. The Tong doesn't. Vala dodges out as much as she can. Nice done, but she still gets killed. Diablo came back and tried to help them to get a counter kill. Didn't quite work out, but they might still be able to get Muradin, honestly, if they pursue this diligently. Tychus was so close, and Muradin finally gets away, but he barely does. They still have Chromie ahead of them, but the Ancestral is back, and they get that heal. Muradin again low! How are they surviving this the entire time? The Parkas get another kill. They go for the triple. Essentially, it's a quad kill. They kill Diablo twice, and they now took out also Zul and Vala. But yeah, that's a problem right there. Tychus is falling back. The fort in the middle is getting attacked. And it's just absolutely brutal. What a back and forth here in game number 2. Right now we have the lead in experience re-established by the Parkas. And they nearly get level 16. So yeah, looking better and better on this. Down at the bottom of the map. Next attack is also slowly coming through. We have 16 on the board. It also completes, of course, the Earthgrass Totem build. Shrine isn't up yet. But yeah, could still happen. Vala needs her 16 as well. Her 20 is going to be even more impactful. But yeah. Now, obviously, one of the things that still plays a pretty big role here, when you look at the damage numbers, for example, is Tychus and Vala. They are 36 and 32,000 damage, but you have Chromie on 58. So that range damage that we're getting from her just continuously is a massive problem for the fighters. And they have actually not taken her down once. Everybody on the blue team died at least one time. Chromie, nah. She's the only one in the entire game, actually, that hasn't fallen yet. So Zul with a very, very safe rotation towards the top. They're getting level 60 now with that camp. Manticore for Vala. And yep, next objective is up. So another moment of truth here, where the red team, to be fair, could leverage their 2 transformations. And likely will. Zul is already on the point, and if the blue team does not go there quickly, then they have to fight into Dragon Queen and Odin, and you don't really want that. So keep in mind, earlier the fighters won this even though they were way behind on the minion stacks. Now it's the exact opposite, and they could use their tools as we speak. But Diablo, he goes down. Big apocalypse this time. Can they get a kill? And the answer is no. Rhaegar gets the Ancestral through. Here comes the Dragon Queen. And they can still maintain the position for a little bit longer. Diablo back in 30 seconds, so it's going to take him some time. Big damage, and there's the problem. He gets hit hard. They're following. They want Atrax. He pops the fountain, though, and goes instantly for Odin and starts to just crush them from a distance. The Punisher is already taken, so even with them losing Diablo early on, they were able to get the objective. And now they can push for the top lane a bit. And they get Greymane. Greymane is dead, and guess what? Muradin, he's trying to hop out, and I'm not sure that he can escape. Vala is already on him, connects the arrow, and the RNG is right there. Nobody there to soak the extra shots, and that's another kill. Vala at 34 stacks right now, just murdering the numbers against single targets. She's fantastic at this point. Gets the big damage out, and they make it work. They take the objective, they get a couple of kills, and they're able to damage the first keep of their game. Only one fort that they destroyed, though. But yeah, they get some damage in here, but they're not trying to press their luck too much. Don't forget that they are still 5 kills behind, and Zul had to deal with all of the lanes right now. In experience, they also still are a little bit behind as we speak. But Vala, obviously, the extra 6 damage with the initial impact is pretty huge. So currently we're talking about roughly 400 extra damage that she can get with the double connect. When she has Acrobat, it's 800 damage if she gets everything done on the same target. It's obviously a lot of ifs and whens, but still. You can imagine how that initial damage is really counting in, and obviously then it's also the bounce damage that will still do even more work. So Camp's taken down at the bottom of the map. The Parka still slightly ahead in experience. And Zul is pushing for the middle. Haka's gonna try and stop him here. Heals are slowly coming out. Alright. And Tychus is fine. Tychus is fine. And Muradin, yeah, well, I would say not that much. Muradin has to be a bit more careful. The same as all True, for Diablo gets kicked off the platform, by the way. Yeah, Diablo is actually being just crushed here. And now they're following up. Once the tank is gone, they can go for the rest of the team. So now they're taking Tychus down. And this is just the problem that they have. How many times has Diablo actually died? 6 times. I mean, Alexstrasza is at times a little bit late to react, I think. And it's always a bit of a dicey one. But that's 6 deaths on Diablo. That's pretty brutal. Now, they should be able to soak level 20, but of course it means that the Pakas are ahead again with Storm Talons. And they might be able to get a keep with it. Yeah, certainly trying. Yeah, and Vala can't get too deep. I mean, again, they're having Zul protect the top lane, but with Greymane in the mix, they have to give this one up. So, they're waiting this out. 1 keep lost because of a fight that they lost in the middle. But this definitely hurts. Losing the keep here like this, that hurts. Vala now with 40 stacks. So 240 damage with every arrow connect. Well, with the initial impact. With the 4 stacks, she's going to be above 1,000. Counting Acrobat in. Yep, for the blue team, that was a pretty nice one. That was an awesome little comeback strategy right there. Now the shrine is activating and we're going to have level 20 on both sides. Oh, no Acrobat! Farflight Quiver. Speccing a little bit more into Manticore, I guess, and then still getting there out. Oh, the Apocalypse also cut short here. Muradin again attacked. Nice damage from Vala at least with Manticore. They're chasing them hard here. But they also used Odin. And that's something that you normally want to reserve for your shrine battles, so that's a bit of a problem for the red team. They used a lot of cooldowns that they probably wanted to save a bit longer, and they got very little out of it. They used Apocalypse, they used also Odin, and those are 2 of the big ones. Diablo is not fully stacked yet, he's at 92. It's another problem that they are having. Muradin gets attacked. Diablo, bye-bye! And he's gone again. Bye-bye! Yeah, and guess what? Zul dies. We have Muradin maybe dying. Nope, he makes it. And that's another one. That's another objective for the Parkers. The crucial fights are currently won over and over again by the blue team. And the fighters, they are getting good numbers in, but it just doesn't matter because they're not getting the kills they need. So now we got an Arcane Punisher, and this is going to be a potential push for the core. And let's not forget, Diablo was very close to getting his soul stacks together for the baseline, and he just couldn't. And yeah, if he had that, maybe he had another chance there, but it is not looking that great. This is going to be a play for core. Muradin is just soaking the damage, he doesn't even care. They're trying to bait the Punisher over a little bit, and they do. At least Tychus is going to have his Odin back in a moment, so they are trying to defend here. Diablo in 6 seconds, but the core is losing shields too quickly. Odin is there, catapults in play, the core is falling too quickly. Vala, even with 50 stacks, is not going to be able to stop them. Apocalypse will zone them out a little bit, but yeah, it's just too little too late. Greymane dies, but so will the core, and that is game. We're going to game number 3 of the series here in the losers bracket. GG. Coming up next, we have the 3rd map of the series. If you guys enjoy the content, also consider to head over to patreon.com/Khaldor. Support our efforts to keep the Heroes of the Storm esports scene alive there. It's the best way to support the channel. Huge shout out to everybody that is already a supporter. You guys are really helping to keep this alive, and you help us to host event after event for the game here. Especially after Blizzard abandoning this already 7 years ago. It's absolutely fantastic that we're still able to do this here. So big shout out to all of the supporters. And again, if you enjoy the coverage, if you would like to support us, head over there and check it out. Thanks a lot. Enjoy the next game. Well, game number 3. I mean, honestly, at this point, it is a little bit funny that it seems 90% of the games, of the matches that we have in the tournament here, go to a 3rd map. It's always just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And yeah, I'm all here for it. Tumor Spider Queen is our 3rd map, so this is going to decide who takes 4th place in the tournament, the loser. And the winner will move on to the next round and still has a shot to make it into the grand final. Keep in mind that with this being the 3rd map, that means 20 heroes have been played and cannot be played again. So that's a little caveat that we still have to talk about here, of course. So we gotta be a little bit cautious. And that eliminates some of the top tier picks for sure. Now, we get Gul'dan eliminated as well, so teams are already looking a bit at wave clear and what they could possibly do with that. I would heavily expect another Falstad ban, as I already explained in one of the previous series. Falstad with frequent flyer right now is benefiting heavily from a map like Tomb of the Spider Queen. You might not get as much out of your just fly ability as you would on a bigger map when you're trying to control the side lanes, but you get a lot out of the ability to just get lots and lots of minions by just rotating from lane to lane. So I would be a bit surprised if Falstad is let through after they banned him diligently the entire time. For now, though, he doesn't get the axe. Now, to be fair, the Parkas are obviously the team that have first pick, first ban. So it was a map choice by the fighters. They decided that they do not need first pick, first ban, but that they want to play this one out on Tomb of the Spider Queen, and as expected, they are now banning Falstad. So here we are. And yeah, let the games begin. Personally, I'm still asking myself a little bit if we're going to see another Cho'Gall pick. It's kind of weird because Cho'Gall is just a hero that normally doesn't really connect. But we've seen so many different teams now play Cho'Gall in the Underdog Cup that it's something that's at least always in the back of your head. Now, obviously, Club R was the Cho'Gall team, kind of. But in this case, there's none of that happening. We actually get Varian. Very likely with Taunt. We had Meme Blades Varian, which was crazy. But I would assume that we can now expect a normal Taunt Varian to come through. And that they're going to aim for a bit of a kill combo. Trying to get additional CC stacked onto the target and then burst damage. But we start again with Auriel and with Hogger. So right from the get-go, you're looking at this if you are the Parkas and you're like, do we need to ban Cho'Gall here? I mean, we've seen this before. This is one of those draft starts where you're like, well, on the one hand, maybe they're not playing Cho'Gall, but what if they really would like to? So they're now faced with the conundrum of whether or not they want to get rid of Cho'Gall or if they want to risk it and use their last ban in order to eliminate that. Nazeebo and Stukov. Okay, so Stukov obviously as a follow-up for Varian is extremely popular. Having Varian into a lurking arm, it makes perfect sense. You get a wall of zombies now as well. But Nazeebo is typically used more so for the late game and for his ability to get to a violent infection. So the Parkas are right there saying, we want to get to the late game. And we want to make sure that we are going to absolutely brutalize you once that Nazeebo hits his 20. So let's see if they can do that. Hanzo gets banned. And now we're coming down to that question that we asked earlier. Cho'Gall ban, yes or no? Are they going to get rid of him? Or are they just going to chance it and be like, hey, whatever, you're not going to do it. And if you do, we'll deal with it somehow. Which honestly they could. But they ban Cho'Gall. Better safe than sorry. Cho gets eliminated. I am halfway convinced that the fighters are actually doing this right now only to ban or to bait out the ban in the first place. But with Auriel, they still need, of course, a hope generator. And with Nazeebo on the other side and the Varian Stukov combo, they kind of know what they're up against. So they already can really judge what's going to be here. Tassadar and Arthas. This could give him a lot of control here. Quick reminder, by the way, that Medivh is also up. Very rarely played here. But yeah. Still. Now. As we're heading onto the final double pick for the blue team, we still need a side laner for them. And then they need to decide who keeps them in play on the damage side until Nazeebo can fully explode and unleash his potential. And it's going to be Junkrat. Malthael and Junkrat for the team. So last rites likely as a follow-up on Varian's damage and then as a bit of a finisher. Junkrat also gives them additional CC, which is nice too. Maybe a little bit on the squishy side. That could become a problem. Hogger, Arthas, Tassadar for really good damage. Could even go into a triple front line if they wanted. And add another melee assassin to this. Yeah, Atrix is the final one, guys. This is game number 3. This is the series that decide which team advances. We get Lunara, so lots and lots of poke damage now too. And with that, we're heading straight into the final map of the best of 3 series here in the losers bracket between the Parkas on drugs and the fighters. The final map in the series, and we have, on the left, in blue, Alpaca, for the Parkas on drugs with Nazeebo. Shan is playing Malthael. We got Ya on Varian with overpower on level 1. King Solomon is playing Stukov, and we got Easy Fizzy on Junkrat. As over on the right side, Itrax is playing for the fighters with Lunara. We have Shikish on Hogga. Akunis is playing Tassadar straight up with the static charge on level 1. Hajdunio on Arthas, and Al Dante with Oriel. Now we get a spider build for Nazeebo in this case. We had in some of the previous games where he was played the Toad build, which is obviously amazing in structures too. Arthas, bye-bye! He's gone.
And we say bye-bye!
Easy kill right there. Walked straight into the bush, thought he could trap somebody, and then he himself just got trapped and murdered. So, yep, nicely done. That was actually pretty good. And Arthas, a little bit of a sad moment here for him, but obviously a bit unexpected. Now, for Nazeebo, that's always kind of nice. If Arthur's gone, it means that you have a lot more time at the beginning of the game to just do your thing. And Nazeebo, he wants stacks, stacks, and more stacks. Get him to 20, and then just take everything down. Lunara is a little bit of an X factor here in the sense that she can do a lot of poke damage, of course, and that will put more pressure onto Stukov, for example. We'll see how Bambi is going to deal with all of this. But for now, in the middle, Varian's still fine. Okay, another wall of zombies already as a bit of a zoning tool. And there's always a Junkrat factor. Now, camp against camp here, with Varian already dishing out a bit of damage, but that also means that at the bottom of the map we have Malthael all of a sudden up against Lunara, and he doesn't like that at all. Up against the range damage dealer, they can just poke you out and get the damage over time in. So Malthael, certainly not a fan, comes to the middle in order to help out here. And that allows Lunara to go for the Siege Giant camp at the bottom of the map, which she should be able to get in time. Yeah. Arthur's already out. Hogga is even helping out down here. And that's an easy camp for Lunara. So, no problem there. Now, Tassadar is at 30 stacks already. It's a little bit of bonus damage with all of this. We'll see how far he goes with that build. Yeah, no level 4 yet for Varian. Or that would have been a very easy kill for them. But he's going to get it any moment. And then Varian and Stukov really have to coordinate their attacks a bit. Once that they do that, this is going to get nasty. Also, decent stacks for Nazeebo already this early on in the game. So he's off to a very good start. He's going to be super happy about that. Went straight into the Hex Crawlers here. And yeah, they're getting a kill. They're going for Hoggan. They take him down with ease. That's exactly the combo that we talked about earlier. You come in, you drop your taunt, and then you follow that up with a lurking arm. And that combo just was undodgeable for them. So Hogga is eliminated. That's the second kill for the Parkas. As the fighters are fighting, and Malthael needs help. And he needs it quickly. Malthael is losing way too much down here. That is part of your fort already lost. And now we have Malthael also being eliminated, and that is 10 of the gems just gone. So, yeah. Well, can you get him? No. No. But yeah, this is exactly the problem right there. So now they're trying to go to counter kill on Lunara, which is also not working out. But this is a bit of a disaster at the bottom of the map for the Parkas. I mean, again, they're losing hit points on their fort, and they just lost Malthael, and they lost a couple of gems. They're off to a great start with those 2 kills, but that is a setback. Oh, that could have been dangerous too, by the way. If that wall hits a little bit differently, then oof, Nazeebo is in trouble. He is stacking extremely well, though. I really, really like his stacking progress. 56 already, 3 minutes in. That's wild. So yeah, he's going to be great on that. The red team, by the way, has enough gems to get a full turn in, but they haven't even tried to deliver any of these gems yet. Which, as we all know, can become a problem. For example, here, Hajdunio trying to get away, and, well, he dies, but at least they get all of the gems. So at least nothing was lost here. Lunara, yeah, with more damage, needs to stay away from Varian, and is able to get out. Hogga. Okay, he makes it too. No, actually, he doesn't make it. No, he gets caught at the wall and then gets killed. Yep, that's the problem right there. Whoa! Is he gonna die? Yes! He's dying just before Kusukov can save him. So gems get essentially just flipped around left and right, but the red team now with a final turn in here. Aldante delivering the 29 they got earlier, and they're getting damage in at the top. It's a bit of a wild game, honestly. I mean, it's all over the place. More kills for the blue team. Really nice attacks also against structures that are coming from the fighters. But yeah, it's a pretty interesting game that we now get in game number 3 of this series. 4 kills to 2. Structurally, for sure a lead for the fighters. And even in experience, the red team is a little bit ahead. No turn-in just yet, after 5 minutes. And yeah, Hogga is going for the next camp, and Lunara is once more in a spot where she can easily go for the damage at the bottom of the map. She realizes that there are some friends coming and has to retreat because that is 30 gems that she's holding. You can't sacrifice that, not for a fort this early. That fort is going to be taken one way or another anyways. But this is still massive for them. The blue team also got their turn in. So that's at least 1 point in their favor. But Lunara is now getting the fort at the bottom of the map. And this is without the objective, without anything. So now the red team trying to defend with the help of the camp that they took in the middle. Varian with a taunt, yeah, but also low. Hajduno, and he gets out. Junkrat tried to get him back in, but yeah, gets out of the fight. Hogga is defending at the top so far fairly nicely, and down at the bottom of the map, Lunara has absolutely zero problems. She just needs to make sure that she doesn't die. Really good defense by the fighters. The red team has now also level 10 abilities. That makes this obviously even more beneficial to them. Oh, Hogga had to actually haul a pulled out of this as they're trying to go to the top. Here comes Syndragosa. They're trying to slow them down and get some kills. Force them into a fight that they definitely don't want. And that's the end of Varian. Varian gets eliminated. They only get 1 kill with it. But they get their turn in now. Lunara goes for the easy turn in. And this is going to be lots of pressure, most likely, at the top lane. Bottom of the map, as already mentioned before, the fort has already been destroyed. 4 kills, 2-3 now. And 88 stacks for Nazeebo. Lunara is actually escorting this out a little bit further, hoping obviously to get the web weavers to a point where they're starting to take the wall at the keep down. But should join the mid lane battle in just a bit. Goes for a bit of an aggressive position here too. But yeah, can take that camp out. And does. Oh, there's going to be pressure at the bot lane for sure. And the red team has now moved towards the top lane, trying to go for the next fort here. Malthael is now starting to get some work done. Malthael in trouble. Has Tormented Souls, by the way, and gets killed. No way. Moved straight into the web weaver damage too. Malthael is down. That opens up the entire bot lane as they're still fighting at the top. The gems from Malthael are also lost. That's a disaster for the Parkas. They're about to lose the fort at the top. They might get a kill here. Even that, yeah, okay. They get at least Hogga. But the fort will be destroyed at any point. And guys, look at this. It's a disaster. They're going to lose a keep. They're going to lose a keep. They can't save it anymore. The keep is gone. 8 minutes in and a keep is gone. And they're not even going for her. It's unbelievable. She could actually get damage in on the core if they continued this. So Lunara is now moving back. 5 kills to 4. And it's absolutely disgusting. And yes, as already mentioned, Lunara for a second was actually thinking about going straight for the core. If she would have been right there at the start, the core would have lost a couple of hit points. Would that have been worth it? Probably not. I mean, let's face it, she's at 34 gems. You want to save those gems. But, holy hell. The Parkas, they miscalculated quite a few things here. I don't think they expected them to go for that spot. And Malthael is having massive problems. This is, I believe, now the 3rd time that Malthael has been eliminated. We have now level 13 talents for the fighters. And an easy turn-in for the red team. Always assuming they want it. And they should apply more and more pressure. Taking the keep down is already a big win. But obviously, one of the things that we've been talking about is Nazeebo's ability in the late game. So the more damage you can do on structures before that is a thing, the better. Lunara is playing, in my eyes, too aggressive. Jumps away. Good reaction by Atrax. Yeah. Again, 37 gems. You don't want to die here. Buys time for the team to take the boss at the top lane, though. So that's good news, and I would assume that by now the Parkers have already caught up on what exactly is happening. But yep, they need to take this one. Boss is claimed, and yeah, now they know what's up. Camp is also about to be taken, and now they can try and go for the turn-in. Al Dante though, ooh, nice. Saving that with ease. Not over yet though, Taunt could still be used. But they're forced into a fight here where they are at a talent disadvantage. Not sure if that's really what you're looking for. Nazeebo is the one that is getting attacked. Nice damage coming in again. Riptire. And they go for Varian once more. The wall is there. And he should die. Horder pulled into the backline. Arthas gets out. Uses Syndragosa and slows them down even further. They try and go for Malthael. He aims for the counter kill and can't get it. And all of a sudden, there's only 2 heroes remaining for the blue team. And in case that you missed it, the boss, completely uncontested, has now gone through the wall at the top lane. And obviously, they're working on the next turn, in which they can also get. 8 kills to 6. 2 levels ahead. And the Parkas in trouble. 30,000 damage for Nazeebo. He's their ticket back into the game for sure. Sitting straight here in the middle. And gets killed by Lunara. Lunara, to be fair, dies too. But, yeah, stopping Nazeebo, one of the main tools also for the defense here, might just have been worth it. Especially since it comes with a level 16 talent advantage for the red team. But how much are they going to get out of this? They should at a minimum try and take a fort. Nazeebo, by the way, with 143 stacks now, is obviously in an absolutely stellar position. He's going to get his stacks 100% if they make it to 20. That's the only question mark here. When Superstition, on the other hand, so no ice block for him. Yeah, already back to business. They got 1 fort out of this, and they're going to get part of the wall. Yeah, part of the wall is also in the cards for them. Tassadon 16 went into the thermal lands, by the way. And still 33 and 40 gems in our respective teams. It's an interesting one. I mean, again, the game not quite over here, but the gap between the two teams is big. 30,000 damage for Nazeebo, 40,000 for Tassadar. Junkrat hasn't died yet. Malthal is struggling, though. And hasn't even gone into last rites or anything as a follow-up on taunt and burst damage. Down at the bottom of the map, honestly, they won't be able to do too much here. I'm not pushing for the core with this. But, yeah, here comes Varian. Aegis is in. And Tassadar instantly with Archon. Horder pulled allows Hogger to escape. He jumps out. Rest of the team is still fighting. As Lunara is again using her PhD in PvE to go through the top lane. Lunara apparently at some point just figured out that heroes fight back, minions rarely do. So she just goes and starts to attack structures and minions and says like, boys, this is way more rewarding. I'm getting damage in and I am not really in trouble. Positions herself towards the wall, hops away and just goes for full Red Dota style. And then gets caught by the big shove. Can try and jump away again. No way. And escapes! Disgusting. What a disgusting creature. God, I hate her and I'm not even on the blue team. Ridiculous. Gets half of the HP at the top keep destroyed. Now it's 7 kills to 9. And it's just absolutely nasty. The blue team is trying to do what they can. And honestly, the only thing that they can do is get to 20, get Nazeebo Vital Infection, and then hope that that's going to be enough to turn the game around. And they know it too. That's their biggest hope. They try to get turn-ins here to A, buy themselves some time, take some structures out, close the experience gap a little bit. But once again, nobody takes care of Bambi. And Bambi is immediately at the top lane, and the entire blue team is instead trying to attack. Even if they take a fort out here, who cares? You can't lose a keep for taking a fort. It's a 5 versus 4. I think the Parkas at this point are desperate. The Parkas are really desperate. They are realizing what's going on. They don't know how to deal with it. Now the keep is gone. Lunara has no gems. She's going to go for the core. The blue team is slowly trying to fall back. I mean, Junkrat is attempting to retreat here. But Lunara is just getting some damage in, repositions, and then moves back out. And all of this allows her to get more and more damage connected. The blue team turns in. But you can already gather where the web weavers are going to spawn. I mean, congratulations. One void over here, the other one up at the top. You're getting a bit of map control back, but that's essentially it. Lunara realizes that she's not even going to die, is she now? Oh my god, it's disgusting! She makes it! Itrax is having an absolute blast here today. He's just running circles around the opponent's team and just doesn't care. He's just sitting there, is like, yeah, what about if I never fight? What about if I don't do anything? I just, like, take structures down all day. And it's working well for them. Now they're going for Varian. Varian is gone. Hogger jumps on Nazebo. They already killed Junkrat. The Web Weaver is essentially gone. And now that they go for the triple kill, they can go for the core. It's a quad kill, baby. It's a 5-man team wipe. They get the entire team eliminated. That opens the core up. And now they can go straight for the victory. Seems like the fighters make it to the next round of the tournament. They're going for the top 3 right now, whereas the Parkers, they are eliminated from the Underdog Cup. They finish 4th place. The fighters just a little bit too clean and too strong on the final map. Congratulations, the red team with the victory, the 2-1 against the Parkers. GG.